Now on CoastTV News.
3 people dead. We have details about multiple crashes on Sussex County highways. Business at home, a year-long debate in Lewes over home occupations. Which rules could change? Senate in session. Gridlock continues on Capitol Hill. What millions of Americans are dealing with.
It was a gorgeous start to the weekend. Temperatures near 70 today. A mild Sunday with showers and then a blast of winter early next week. I'll have details on that coming up in just a little bit.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
Good evening. Welcome to CoastTV News at 6. I'm Emma Aiken. Our top story tonight, a deadly Millsboro crash that police say happened around 2:30 Friday afternoon. The area is on your screen now. Troopers say a Dodge Ram was driving west on John J. Williams Highway toward Leighton Davis Road when it crossed the center line and hit a Ford box truck driving in the opposite direction. The Dodge hit the front left side of the Ford, and police say the driver of the Dodge Ram, a 76-year-old man from Millsboro, died at the scene. The driver of the Ford was taken to a nearby hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. That was not the only deadly crash that happened in Sussex County yesterday. A chain reaction crash closed Coastal Highway for about 5 hours. This was the scene around 5:30 Friday. Delaware State Police say it happened around 2:30 south of Hudson Road. According to troopers, a dump truck failed to slow down for traffic and slammed into a line of cars. A 62-year-old was taken to the hospital where she later died, while her passenger was pronounced dead at the scene. Several others were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And this brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, do you feel safe traveling Delaware highways? Let's take a look at the results. So far, 87% of you say no and 13% of you say yes. And if you haven't voted yet, you still can on coasttv.com or using the mobile app. And we're now taking a live look into Dover. Our first alert meteorologist, Bob Tryhe, joins us now. Bob, what a beautiful Saturday out there today.
Wow, I agree, Emma. Just fantastic out there. A high near 70 today, and obviously it's cooled off now with the sun going down and being at dark. 59 in Millsboro, 58 in Dagsboro, 60 in Rehoboth, 58 in Georgetown, 57 in Redden. So you definitely need a sweatshirt out the door, but the winds are light right now, and we're seeing some mid to high level clouds building in, but looking good for this evening. As we widen out the view, you can see more clouds back to the west. We've got a couple of frontal boundaries with low pressure developing across the Tennessee Valley, and eventually that will start to head our way and I think give us a better chance of showers as we go through the overnight into Sunday. Here's Futurecast this evening. Temperatures falling through the 50s. By 10 p.m. we're in the 50s, and I think it's the coldest shortly after midnight. Then temperatures starting to rise as we go into Sunday morning, and maybe some showers at that time, but looking good for this evening. A mild Sunday and then a big change to a taste of winter Monday. More on that coming up a little bit later on.
Thank you, Bob. Southbound Route 113 at Avenue of Honor will have nighttime lane closures starting tomorrow, November 9th. That is according to DelDOT. The agency says the project will extend the existing turn lane and it should take 2 weeks. In Lewes, debate surrounding home businesses will continue Monday. According to the city's agenda, they may change the rules about some of these home-based businesses. The debate in Lewes has been going on for over a year. Last November, we actually spoke with the woman at the heart of this debate who wanted to run a dog grooming business in her basement, but said because kennels and groomers are roped into one category under Lewes code and kennels are not permitted, she was denied a license.
Whole process has affected my life because now I have to travel back to Virginia to my old grooming salon and start working there, and I travel there quite frequently back and forth, and I'm away from my family. I'm away from the American Legion that I'm a really huge member of.
Monday's meeting could change the animal kennel part of the city's code to exclude grooming, as well as changes to other sections. The draft ordinance also categorizes home occupations into no impact, low impact, or potential impact based on factors like number of employees and parking. Delaware agriculture officials have confirmed a presumptive case of bird flu in Kent County. Officials say a backyard flock was tested because it had an unusually high number of bird deaths, and the flock tested positive for avian influenza. The Department of Agriculture has quarantined the property, and this is the first detection of avian flu in Delaware during the current migratory season. Experts are urging flock owners to boost biosecurity. Anyone noticing sick or dying birds is asked to contact the Delaware Poultry Health Hotline. The government shutdown is now stretching into a 39th day. It's the longest on record. Friday, the Senate failed to pass a bill that would pay federal workers who have to show up for work during the shutdown. Senators are expected to continue to meet through the weekend, but as the shutdown drags on, Jen Sullivan explains the impact it's having on millions of Americans.
The Senate will come to order.
The Senate back in session Saturday as the government shutdown settles into a sixth week with no end in sight.
Instead of governing, Republicans are playing games with people's livelihoods.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer proposed a plan Friday to reopen the government if Republicans agree to extend health care tax credits by 1 year. Those subsidies help lower health insurance costs for millions of families, and they're set to expire at the end of the year. But Republicans are worried they're too costly.
Republicans are not about to further burden taxpayers by blindly extending a flawed program.
Caught in the middle of the gridlock on Capitol Hill, the American public. Millions of federal workers are not getting paid. TSA agents and air traffic controllers are still expected to come to work, but many are calling out.
They don't have the means to come to work. They're calling in because they can't put gas in their car, or they can't afford to pay for daycare.
The sick calls are causing staffing shortages at airports and aviation support facilities across the country.
Each FAA facility has a minimum staffing level. They have to have this in place, or regulatorily they cannot operate.
The FAA says it will gradually reduce air traffic by up to 10% by November 14th at 40 major airports. The decision could cut thousands of flights a day. It's already having a major impact on travel, stranding passengers.
The whole board, there were so many cancellations.
We can always rent a car, take the Amtrak.
As of 3 p.m. Saturday, more than 4,200 flights had been delayed and more than 1,000 flights canceled, according to FlightAware. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Veterans Day is coming up on Tuesday, and the Rehoboth Concert Band is honoring our nation's heroes this weekend with a special performance called Duty, Honor, Country, a tribute to veterans. The concert is free and takes place tomorrow, November 9th at 3 p.m. at Cape Henlopen High School. Donations will be accepted at the door, with all proceeds benefiting the organization Folds of Honor, a nonprofit supporting families of fallen and disabled service members. Coming up later on Coast TV News at 6, the Rockefeller tree is here, how big the famous seasonal spruce is this year in New York City.
Here's a live look into Salisbury on the Tidal Health Camp. 59 dry conditions. We got up to 70 today, 78 the record back in 2020, 58 the low. Big changes on the way, showers and storms, and a blast of winter early next week. Details coming up.
Rehoboth Beach Film Festival, what you can watch during the final day of the 27th annual event. That's coming up next on Coast TV News at 6.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
If you love movies, you can still catch one more day of the Rehoboth Beach International Film Festival. On Sunday, She Dances is playing at 1 p.m., Sound of Falling is on at 3:30 p.m., Left-Handed Girl starts at 6:30, and Eagles of the Republic is showing at 8:35. And several of those films are Oscar submissions from around the world. Lisa Black with the Rehoboth Beach Film Society says the festival is about community.
We do it because this is humanity, right? If you didn't have this kind of interaction, and it just brings people closer together, and we really need a lot of that.
The 7-day festival featured more than 100 films, from global dramas to local documentaries. And coming up next, Bob Trihey is in the Coast TV First Alert Weather Center. He's expecting Sunday showers, maybe some storms, then a blast of winter early next week, and he has your full forecast after this.
It was an absolutely gorgeous start to this November weekend. 70 in Salisbury and Georgetown today, 68 in Easton, 71 in Ocean City. Just beautiful out there. And naturally, it's cooling down. It's dark out there. 57 in Cambridge on the FH Fur Cam right now, and looking great if you're out and about this Saturday evening. Clear skies. Temperature slowly falling through the 50s, and right now we're in the 50s for most of us. 60 in Lewes and Rehoboth, 58 in Georgetown right now, and 58 in Millsboro. Winds are light, so very pleasant out there. We have some bits of high-level clouds building in right now, but we're going to keep it dry as we go through the evening hours. And farther to the west, we've got developing low pressure across the Midwest. We've got one front to our north, another one to the south. Some severe weather across the upstate of South Carolina, but this low pressure will continue to build to the east and increase our rain chances as we go through time. But the big story heading into early next week is this big blast of cold air coming in out of Canada, and that will bring a taste of winter to us by the early part of next week. Here's Futurecast as we go through the evening hours. We're looking at temperatures into the 50s, and by midnight, low 50s under mostly clear skies. A little warmer at the beaches, and then through the overnight, as clouds start to increase, I think the temperatures come up a little bit. So we're in the 50s to low 60s around 6 a.m. and watch for a scattered shower on the way out to church or wherever you're going. And it's going to be another mild day. By noon, we're looking at southerly breezes and temperatures into the 60s and low 70s. By the afternoon hours, temperatures into the 60s. And then as we go into the evening with a powerful cold front coming through, we're looking at showers and storms, and some of these could be potent with heavier rain and perhaps some damaging winds, especially farther to the south. And then the cold air starts to move in. Here's Monday morning temperatures near 50, and those temperatures really not going anywhere through the day. Here's 2:30 on Monday. Temperatures in the mid 40s, feeling much colder with the wind as we go into the evening hours, falling from the 40s into the 30s. And by Tuesday morning, temperatures at least in the low 30s. Another hard freeze, some areas into the upper 20s, and with the winds feeling like low to mid 20s. Now, as we go into tomorrow evening from Chincoteague to Crisfield, you have a marginal or low risk of seeing severe weather, maybe some damaging winds with that cold front moving through tomorrow night. And as far as the rainfall amount, about a quarter to a half an inch, with some areas picking up more than that. But grab the winter coat Monday and Tuesday. Highs in the 40s and 50s, lows in the 20s and 30s, wind chills in the 20s. The good news is this is here for a couple of days, and then it's pretty much out of here and warming up midweek. 50 tonight, partly cloudy and chilly. 68 with showers, a possible storm tomorrow. Paul Davis 7-day forecast. 52 Monday, but falling through the 40s, and then 29 Tuesday morning, a hard freeze. Veterans Day, mostly sunny but cold, 46, and then drying out mid-50s for the rest of the week into early next weekend.
We still have more news to get to here on Coast TV News at 6. A city council change, why one Salisbury official is stepping down. Salisbury City Council President Deshaun Doughty announced yesterday that he is stepping down. In his announcement, he said, quote, an opportunity arose that requires him to spend more time outside the city. Doughty was first elected to the council in 2023 and later appointed to the position of council president. Council will now appoint his replacement and vote on a new president in Salisbury. It's another week in the NFL regular season. This week on Coast TV, the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the LA Chargers. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Then stay tuned for Coast TV News right after. We still have more news coming up on Coast TV News at 6. Transition of power, what Virginia's current governor is promising to the state's next governor. Virginia's governor hosted the Commonwealth's next governor in Richmond yesterday. Governor Glenn Youngkin gave Governor-elect Abigail Spanberger a tour of the governor's mansion. She was elected on Tuesday. Youngkin is promising full support during the transition of power.
In the great tradition of the Commonwealth of Virginia, we go through a transition every 4 years. And as part of that transition, we have the opportunity to have lunch together, and we had a lovely lunch.
The lunch with Governor Youngkin and the First Lady. It was a wonderful discussion about the transition process and some of the basic realities of what this is going to mean for our family. So I'm grateful.
Abigail Spanberger will be sworn in as Virginia's next governor on January 17th. The Food and Drug Administration has issued a warning to 18 websites that it says are marketing unapproved and misbranded drug versions of Botox. The FDA says it is aware of reports of adverse events tied to the use of those products. Several Botox products carry a significant risk of serious or life-threatening side effects. They include botulism, which when attacking the nerves can lead to difficulty breathing or worse.
Make sure you grab a heavier jacket out the door this evening as temperatures fall through the 50s, right around 50 at midnight, and then starting to increase the temperatures around sunrise. And remember to call the First Alert weather phone. 443-880-9100 is the number. Sponsored by Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico. Your Paul Davis 10-day forecast, 68 Sunday. Showers, maybe some storms, and maybe some damaging winds into Sunday night. And then temperatures plummet with that Arctic blast into early next week. 52 on Monday, then falling through the 40s and a hard freeze as we go into Tuesday morning down to 29. It's going to be a dry, sunny, but very cold Veterans Day with a high of 46. And then we start to, well, see temperatures moderating end of the week in the mid 50s. And then by next weekend, Emma, it's up to 64 by Sunday. Are you ready for this big blast of winter?
I'm just laughing at the fluctuation there.
Oh my
29,
gosh.
But today felt like summer outside.
I know, it's just up and down. It's the battle of the seasons.
Just have to roll with the punches,
we
I
do.
guess.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for joining us here on Coast TV News at 6. For more local news and weather, be sure to download our Coast TV News app and join us tonight on Coast TV News at 11. Until then, have a great night.
Good night.